If I were to go into drink business, the drink I would choose to sell will be Kunu. Yes, and that's because Kunu business is not saturated. Compared to the likes of Zobo and Tiger Nut drink, Kunu business, we are just going to be very, very few. So if you are going into drink business, I just dropped this idea for you. And I'm not just going to be dropping the idea, I'm also going to be teaching you how to make this super yummy and delicious Kunu. So you can make extra money from the comfort of your home, selling to your workers, your church members, and what have you. So if you're interested in this video, do make sure to watch till the end. To start with, we are going to get our grain, and the grain we are going to be using for this recipe is going to be millet, okay? Instead of me picking out my millet one by one, I'm just going to pour in some water, then the dirt is going to float on top. Then I'm going to change the water about 2 or 3 times till it comes out clean like this. Then I know that my millet is clean. But if you know you love hard work, you can go ahead to start picking your millet one by one. But as for me, I am the president of Lazy Women Association, so I will always go through the soft route. I had already finished washing my millet before I realized that I didn't add in some tiger nuts. So I brought out my tiger nuts, I picked out the stones, I picked out the dirt in it, and then I just poured it into the millet. And right now, I'm just going to leave it to sit overnight, just so it can soften, ferment a little, and then we can go ahead with the production. Now, this is the following morning, and these little bubbles on top signifies that our grains has already gone through fermentation, or let's just say fermentation has started. The next thing we are going to do is to wash out our grain and make sure that it is void of sand. Now, millet and this tiger nut, they are one grain that has a lot of stones and sand, so you have to make sure that you wash it thoroughly. You wash it till there are no sand, till there are no stones, because you don't want to produce a drink in which you start swallowing sand or you start swallowing stone. So you have to wash as multiple times as possible. So mine is clean already, and then I'm going to go ahead to add in the other ingredients that we're going to be using for this recipe. So in here we have dried pepper. So I just washed in my dried pepper, and I just used a good amount of quantity that is going to give me a spicy Kunu. So you can use any quantity of choice depending on what you want. Next ingredient we are going to be using is ginger. Okay, so I'm just going to rinse my ginger, make sure there are no stones, there are no sands in it, and then I'm going to cut them into bits so that it can be easy for my blender to actually blend it. And after our ginger, in here we have cloves. Okay, so I'm just going to rinse my cloves, and then I added it into the water. Then next on the list is going to be sweet potatoes. Okay, so I just went ahead to clean the sweet potatoes, and then I cut it into tiny bits because I have intentions of using my blender for this. But if you know you are taking this to a commercial grinding machine, you can just cut it to whatever size that you want. So just do you. Okay, so let's proceed. And now that all my ingredients are ready, we are just going to proceed to blend them into smooth paste. Now, when you are done blending, set a little portion aside that we are going to be using for later. So this is the portion I set aside in this small bowl, so I'm just going to keep it. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to get this our main batter, and then we are going to prepare it the way we would always prepare our normal akamu or ogi, whatever it is called in your dialect or in your language. So prior to this time, I've already put some water on fire. The water is boiled, and then I poured it into this, but unfortunately the pap didn't cook, it didn't get thick. So in this situation, you don't need to panic, you don't need to fret. Just pour the batter back into your pot, and then you're going to cook it on fire the way you would always cook your ogi if it comes out watery. So that's just what we are going to do for the next few minutes. So I started cooking my akamu, and you'll see that it's going to start changing its consistency bit by bit. It starts to get thickened. If there are lumps, you don't need to actually panic, you don't need to care, because we are still going to go ahead to sieve this. So at this point I felt it was cooked enough and it can't get thicker than this, so I set this aside and I left it to cool down for about a couple of hours. And few hours later, this is what we have. It's cooled down to some extent, not too cold, it's still a bit warm but not too hot. So we're just going to get that aside, and then remember the other smaller portion that we kept separately. Yeah, we are going to bring out that raw portion that we didn't cook. Remember, we didn't cook it, and we are going to pour it into the main mixture. We are going to stir it together and make sure it is well and very well combined. So that is just basically what you are going to do next. So the next thing we are going to do after this is that we are going to sieve this out in order to get the chaff out and to get our kunu. So I'm just going to go ahead to wear my gloves now, and then we are going to sieve this out. So at this time, whichever way you know how to sieve your pap or your ugi, just go through it. This is the method I use, okay? And there are some people who actually use the bucket and they'll put a cloth over the bucket. If that is the method you know how to use, just go ahead to use whatever method that you know how to use. The point and the goal is to just get the juice out and to make it as clear as possible. If you've watched this video to this stage, it simply means you are enjoying this video and you are learning something new. So I want to implore you to please click on that subscribe button and subscribe to this channel. This is the only way you can tell me thank you. This is the only way you can actually encourage me to post more videos like this. Click the subscribe button, like this video, and also turn on your post notification so that when I post interesting recipes like this, you would always see it. And to my returning subscribers, you know I will not just stop saying thank you. Thank you so much for coming back, and I hope to see you another time. So I was done saving this, and then I realized that there were still some particles on this Kuno, and I didn't want that. You guys can see. I hope you guys can see this clearly. So I just went ahead and I just took another Muslim cloth and then I just sieved it again so that I can get a perfectly smooth, no obstacle kuning. And that is just what I'm just going to do next. But if you actually sieved your own once and it didn't have any particles or something like this, you can always skip. So this is what we have. You can see how lush and how smooth it looks. So I added in about not even up to 1 cup of sugar just to give it the extra taste. Remember, there's sweet potatoes in it, so that one itself is a kind of sweetener on its own. Now if you don't want to use sugar, you can use any other kind of sweetener that you want, but this is just the basic way Kunu is made. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'm just going to put this into my bottles and then I'm going to keep them in my freezer. With time, the Kunu actually gets thicker and everybody in the house enjoyed this. So I hope you are going to try out this recipe. You're going to try out something new, and I know you'll be back to tell me thank you. And that is it. I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye.